Yo, my nerds, how's everyone doing? Welcome back to a brand new episode for a brand new month. Let me sit up a bit. I've been I've been slouching, waiting for the clock to turn 4:31, watching some YouTube shorts, not knowing that the time has already hit what we wanted to, which is 4:30. So how's everyone doing? Let me bring the music down here and get the party started. Couldn't stream yesterday. I had to go to Costco with my mom, get some groceries. I was actually planning to stream. I was creating the live stream. I was editing the thumbnail for yesterday, and then mom calls me and she's like, hey, we're gonna go to Costco. Come with me. And I was like, all right, fine. I'll come help you. So that's where yesterday went off to, busy with family. That's what that meant. But today we are good, locked and loaded, all free for you guys, and ready to talk about stonks. And boy, oh boy, is there a lot to talk about. There's so much happening right now in the after hours. There's a little bit of turmoil in the semiconductor sector. Bitcoin had some issues yesterday or the day before that, and then Bitcoin's back above 90k or around 90k at the moment. So lots of things going around, lots of things moving, and then obviously some wild things have transpired on Polymarket over the weekend, today morning, yesterday. Lots of stuff to discuss. So let's actually dive right in and show you guys what's in store today. As you guys can see on the chart on the screen, we have OKTO already open, which is currently struggling to reclaim the $80 area, not able to get back above 80 here after an original push up to 85 on the earnings move, getting absolutely pummeled back below 80 and struggling over here on the earnings reaction. This is a name that's on our watch list, along with a bunch of other stocks that report today after hours, such as Marvell, GitLab, CrowdStrike, Pure Storage, Sydney Sweeney sponsored company, American Eagle, Box, Okta, Asana, and some of the names from yesterday after hours, such as MongoDB, CRDO, all on the watch list, including actually CXM and Macy's and Dollar Tree, which report tomorrow pre-market. So here's the watch list. Let me just bring in the watch list. Here's the watch list. Some semiconductor names or AI related semiconductor names. Some earnings names over here. I saw XYZ move quite a bit today. I might even add where is it? I might even add IREN, because that one had some moves, so I'm just gonna put it on watch for myself. But this is basically the gist of the watch list that we're gonna run through, see if there's any trades to be discussed, and get ready for tomorrow to make some nice little opportunities over there, make some quick little dollar bills. However, overall market today very choppy. QQQ, S&P 500 very choppy, lots of back and forth action. If you were looking for a trend, you just did not get that. You got first a pop, then a drop all the way back down around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then a pop right back to basically the opening range high area where we ended up closing at. So a lot of chop today. Not the best day for day traders, but if you were in the right names at the right time, which is obviously the number one priority of our job over here, make sure you're in the right names at the right times, and that ended up giving you some good trades like ALAB, AMZN, IREN, XYZ, or even Amazon when they announced that they have a news for a new chip coming out. So lots of moves across the board today, and yeah, we're just gonna quickly dissect and dive into some of these to see if there's any trading opportunity tomorrow. Why don't we start with the earnings board? And for that, bring in our good friend Benzinga. If you guys are interested in this awesome software, shout out to Benzinga for sponsoring the earnings segment. The software is, I just can't live without it at this point. The Benzinga Squawk is such an awesome tool. It helps me find trades before the articles even get published, because the Benzinga guy is reading them out loud for you as the stock is moving. So awesome tool over there. I just simply cannot live without it. And I also have customized scanners that show me what stocks are moving at what time. That way I'm able to be situated in them so I can make quick little scalps and profits. As a day trader, that's what you're trying to do, right? Make quick little scalps, make some money on the day so you could walk to the bank, baby. Okay, so the first name on the watch list was from the earnings board, Marvell, MRVL. How did you do today? Let's go take a quick little look at this. Where are we? Stock slides after Q3 earnings, acquires Celestial AI. Continue reading the report. 76 cents per share, which ended up beating the estimates of 73 cents per share. Quarterly revenue came in at 2.08 billion, which beat the street estimates of 2.07 billion. Revenue was up from same period last year of 1.52 billion. Marvell delivered record third quarter revenue, exceeding the midpoint of the guidance driven by strong demand. We are guiding for a robust growth in the fourth quarter and are on track for a strong finish to the fiscal year, with full year revenue growth forecasted to exceed 40%. Looking ahead, we see demand for our product continuing to accelerate, and as a result, our data center revenue growth forecast for the next year is now higher than the prior expectation. Sorry. So things are looking good on the report on the summary over there. For the report was for the most part good, but here's MRVL currently struggling and getting pushed to the downside, not really doing too hot. I'm gonna, for us, really quickly pull up my Benzinga, not my Benzinga, my Perplexity scanner, and we're gonna quickly scan what the ratings are for MRVL according to an AI tool. What does AI think MRVL's earnings report sentiment score is out of 10, 10 being good, 1 being bad? And what is the overall sentiment score on social media for the same name? So let's take a look at over here. Social and retail sentiment score, earnings score. Okay, so earnings score, they're giving it an 8 out of 10. And social sentiment score, they're giving it a 7 out of 10, which honestly, bullish for the most part. 40% plus growth guided for the next quarter, but the market just not liking that at all, and they basically sold the stock off to the downside. How much did they drop here in the after hours? About 5% or so. I guess, 5% is not that bad, but it's still sad to see that, hey, they're guiding up and people are selling off the position. Maybe some of this has to do with what Amazon announced today. Their competitor, they are entering the competing space of the AI chip business, and you guys know if Amazon's creating AI chips, the chances are they're going to use their own AI chips in AWS servers instead of having to go ahead and contract or create partnerships with Google, Nvidia, Marvell, AMD. They don't have to do that anymore. Now they can just use their own in-house chips and just keep on growing themselves. So possibly something of those sorts impacting Marvell over here a little bit, but the report wasn't the report is not as bad as the drop is, in my opinion. A quick little look back on the chart, you can see how somewhere around $88 seems to be ooh, what the heck, I didn't even hit spacebar, but for some reason it decided to skip to the next chart. What the heck? Right here, where'd it go? Was 88? No, that's not it. Where was I looking? Right here. You can see how previously we held here, we held off here again, so nice little double bottom, and then the earnings breakdown. And then afterwards we pushed back, and there was basically a range between 85 to 88 where the stock managed to find support over here. Then obviously again 88 came into play again, and now in the after hours you're seeing the same thing again, 85 to 88. So seems like previous buyers are continuously accumulating shares in this area. The question is, tomorrow, does this act as a support, or does this base break down and we see a little bit more sell-off on intraday December 3rd? Today's 2nd, right? Yes. So December 3rd, do we see more intraday sell-off having taking place on this name? So right now it's looking like it's trying to find a base above this 87, 85 area, but that's going to be a key level to keep an eye out for pre-market. Obviously, I would love for the stock to find a base and then give us some sort of a long opportunity to fade this drop. But it also depends on what the market's doing, or how's the QQQ, how's SOXL, how's the other competitors in the same business such as Nvidia doing at the moment. So you're using all of these names as a whole bigger picture to take advantage of that earnings name. Prad, today's price action was bullshit. Plain BS. I mean, I don't blame you for being mad. Yeah, today was a lot of upside and back and forth in general, up, down, back up. So I don't blame you for being mad, but you know, it's expected. This is a lot more in the scenario than looking for just straight upside move, in my opinion, right? Just looking for a straight upside move in the market wasn't that high of a probable scenario, and in my opinion this is the most probable scenario. However, I did not expect that big of a pullback, and then that big of a pullback getting corrected and then flying back up. I thought after that pullback maybe we close under 621, but we actually managed to get back above 621, which just goes to show that buyers are willing to buy every single dip at the moment, and the chance that the, well, maybe not the QQQ, but chance that the S&P 500 manages to get above the all-time high before the year end doesn't seem that bad now. Super Ziggy! I miss Ziggy. How's Ziggy doing, brother? Ziggy was your dog's name, right? Hopefully doing well, healthy. I haven't seen your dog in so long, man. Holy. How you doing, big dog? Took some profits on the SOX today, SOXL, sorry. Today was the last... the last 3 months of watching this trade playing out was actually fun. Passed away. Oh. I'm sorry about that, man. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully, you know, he's in a better spot. He was a cool dog. The once or twice that I got to see him, twice? I think I saw him twice. He was a cool dog. I can't imagine my life without Coco, man. Coco is everything to me. I can't imagine life without him. So I you know, what's going on with this? Go. How did that go up so high? You couldn't even see it. Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine my life. Check that last 3 months price action on SOXL. Let's take a look at this. I mean, yeesh, right back to the upside. Market does not want to sell off at all, eh? Market is absolutely beasting it, but I'm guessing you bought it right off the November lows here, maybe, or even somewhere in this area. If you bought it in this area or even in November lows, you're laughing right now. You're straight laughing to the bank. Things are looking great at the moment for the semiconductor industry. However, I don't know if that's going to be true because some of the stocks in, wait, why did I pull up AVGO? Some of the stocks that are not really in the semiconductor industry are looking to enter the industry, which means the names in the semiconductor basket might get affected a little bit. So need to be a little careful here. For example, Marvell, even with a good earnings report, struggling today and plummeting to the downside. Prad, are you expecting Santa Rally to take us back to all-time highs before the end of the year? I don't really believe in Santa Claus Rally or any other nonsense. In my opinion, look, the only thing that matters is, are there buyers? Or are there sellers? If there's buyers, can I take advantage of them? Are there sellers? Can I take advantage of them? That's the only thing that matters. I think by believing or you know, using ideas like Santa Claus Rally and so on is just a waste of time. You know, control what you can and manage within the variables that you see in front of you, right? Life becomes a lot easier when you're playing in that playbook. Otherwise, it's just a lot of headache. You're always wondering about, is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Instead of worrying about that, you know, I think it's a little bit stress-free and a lot easier if you just react to the scenario if it does happen, right? Bitcoin, no one saw Bitcoin going back up to 90K today or at all. After Bitcoin crashed the way it did a few days ago, this is the 5-minute chart. Let me go to the 1-day chart. After Bitcoin crashed the way it did right here on Monday, no one saw Bitcoin going right back up to 90K. But here we are, right back up to 90K. When Bitcoin did this down move, everyone was like, ooh, maybe maybe the market's not going to break the all-time high and we're still looking for doomsday. There were a lot of people who went out and made fun of MSTR, and to be frank, I was gonna make fun of MSTR yesterday had I actually gone live, but I couldn't go live, right? So I guess I got lucky because now I don't look like that big of an idiot. Also, talking about MSTR is now priced 10 billion under the current asset value of their Bitcoin holdings. So in my opinion, there's a long or a trade somewhere here setting up as after especially that little bounce, right after this bounce on MSTR. That lines up with the whole Bitcoin move that we saw on Monday and the Bitcoin retracement today. As long as Bitcoin doesn't pummel back to the downside, there is a good chance that there is a long here above whatever this price is. Well, we'll figure out what is that. Above 188, 187. There's a long above this price, in my opinion, back to the north side, because currently MSTR is apparently $10 billion. Their market cap, that is. It's 10 billion market cap, less than their actual net asset value of their Bitcoin holdings. So keep an eye on MSTR here. I pulled off a trade today on Coinbase. I shorted Coinbase on the break of VWAP, right? You can't see the chart there. Let me see if I can pull up the chart. Give me a second, chat. Prad, Coinbase. There we go. Open link. So here's my trade today on Coinbase. Shorted the break of 268. As you can see, the stock goes all the way up to 270, 250, pulls back to 268, bounces, and each time it goes into 268, it's not able to break this area at all. So when it actually breaks that area, I found a spot to risk $1 and potentially get $2-3 worth of reward for that trade. So a 2:1 quick little scalp, and I managed to pull that trade off, short 268, and then I'm basically getting out 266, 265.50, and I'm completely stopped out of my trade over here. Just a quick little hit and run, quick little scalp trade on that name, and taking advantage of it. Taking advantage of the Bitcoin, taking advantage of the market pullback at that time of day too. Just simple mechanics. Right here was that trade. So you can see how we just simply never got below 268 no matter how much we tried. After the opening drive back and forth, and then when we did break down, I've actually end up getting a perfect measured move reward, right? So my risk was basically 269, not even, it was a little bit less than 269 realistically, but I did start off with the dollar risk. So $1 per share risk ended up giving me an easy $2.50, almost $3 worth of reward for it. So I took advantage of that trade and I bailed. That was basically my one and done trade for the day. I didn't really trade too much today, trying to keep it light. I'm a little busy with some extracurricular activities at the moment. I'm working for Polymarket. If you guys haven't seen already, I have a brand new account. It's called TraderPrad. So make sure you go follow me on all social media. Let me just open it up over here. Make sure you go follow me on all social media, especially on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. PolyPrad is the username, where I will be posting new content about Polymarket every single day. For example, here, I'll just let you guys watch the video here. All on the Spotify #3 most played artists. Imagine turning $800 into 16,000 all on the Spotify #3 most played artist of the year a day before the information comes out. Well, this trader over here was able to figure out the information by scraping the web, by going deep inside the WordPress documents, and get the information out before any other trader could. Previously, Drake was expected to win this at a 95% probability, but now that the information got leaked, smart traders turned pennies into dollars. You can do this too, but only on Polymarket. Sign up with the link below. So that right there is basically what I am contracted, I guess, contracted or I'm part of the Polymarket team, helping them push out their website a little bit more and collect some money while I'm doing this for them. And I'm also now going to be a little bit more bigger part of the STN team, which is the team that I host for on Thursdays. Thursday 1 o'clock, and I'm going to go live with them on December 8th and December 9th on their afternoon show at 3:30 or 3 o'clock, I believe. So I just have so much extracurricular activities going on at the moment that I cannot give trading the full attention that I want to, which was just a couple of days, right? So a couple of days, and because of that, I don't have as many trades to show. However, that Coinbase trade was a winner. I do have a loser here today. It's green on the day, so that's good. But I do have a loser here to show you. Why is these images so trash? Abercrombie and Finch, ANF. So tried to short ANF on what was the lower day breakdown. It seems like it was gonna work out, but then I ended up getting stopped out on this name. Lost about 20 to 30 cents. No, I actually lost about 40 cents per share on this trade. But instead, on Coinbase, I ended up making $2.50 per share. So overall profitable on the day, and able to now sit here with a smile on my face. All right. So we talked about Marvell. Let's go to the next name on the earnings board here, which is GitLab. That's not the right ticker. There we go. Let's go talk about GitLab, and I'm going to put in inflection basically 85 to 87. I'm interested to see how the stock trades around this area in the pre-market. Next stock, GitLab. Where did you go today? Looks like GitLab also struggling at the moment. Actually trying to reclaim the $40 area. The seller, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles in a row has been constantly accumulating shorts or just selling how much ever they have as if they're long, they're just getting rid of their position, either or. They've been trying to hold the stock below 40. Right now the inflection level based on the after hour action is fairly simple. You don't have to think too much about it. Ooh, look at that. It also lines up very, very well with the daily chart. You're actually getting under last week's low here. So not only are we under last week's low, but we're struggling to reclaim last week's low on GitLab. So that makes it very interesting, and that makes the level very, very important tomorrow. So keep an eye on this $40 area. If GitLab gets back above 40, there could be a good long trade, but staying under 40 I think will make things a lot more interesting, because we could possibly flush all the way down to $38, $39, and then maybe even a little bit more. Actually, look at how it played perfectly within that box. Amazing. So we got a flush, a bounce from the overall daily chart low, and rejecting just below the last week's lows. So kind of stuck in a box here, and it will be very interesting to see what direction do we resolute. Do we reclaim 40, or do we get below 39, or do we stay stuck in this zone? Even if we stay stuck in this zone, I think there will be some opportunities on the edges where you accumulate some longs here, and then you get out here, or you accumulate some shorts here and then you get out here. So I think something to keep an eye out for sure. You guys, if you've been watching me for some time, you know that purple is a high priority level for me, so I'm going to keep an eye out for this stock without a doubt. 38.80 to 39 as an important zone on GitLab. Do we need to read the earnings report for this? Why not? Let's go read the earnings report. Actually, instead, let's use my AI friend, Perplexity. Speaking of which, Perplexity Finance has been modifying their tool set, their awesome Perplexity Finance software every single day. Now you have direct news feeds from Benzinga. For those of you, I should probably not say this because that means you guys are not going to click on my Benzinga sales link. But for those of you who don't have Benzinga, you can directly go to Perplexity Finance. I think Perplexity Finance is basically free, and read the article yourself that Benzinga is posting without Benzinga. Isn't that amazing? And then you have MT Newswires. So you have Newswires right here in Perplexity Finance. You can change the date range of the chart that you want to, or the simple moving averages. You could, what is this? Toggle between candles and line charts. That's new. That hasn't been there before. And then obviously earnings calls, earnings transcripts, which is actually live at the moment right now for GitLab. This is also fairly new. I've seen this previously, but this is fairly new where they show you the estimate, but they also show you how much they beat or missed by. So realistically, we don't even need Benzinga Finance anymore, or my little shortcut. I can just use this tool to quickly analyze that they beat by 2.1%. However, EPS was a decent miss. They were estimating a 20-cent EPS, but the stock reported negative 0.5 cents, negative 5 cents. Why did I say 0.5? Negative 5 cents EPS, which is 125% miss over there. So yikes, GitLab looking not too good. And just quickly just gonna use this what is it? ER scan stream GTLB. Let's throw in a bunch of them together. GTLB, CRWD. PSTG, AEO, OKTA, ASAN, and box. And then we'll let that bad boy ride. Let's ride. Okay, so obviously pretty big miss on the EPS over there, and that makes sense why GitLab is reacting the way it did. I do think we'll be able to find a good opportunity between the levels that I mentioned not too long ago. While our AI is actually performing its job, let's quickly head over to CrowdStrike and see how this stock reacted. Ooh, looks like a first, absolute sell-off all the way into $500, and then that got bought right back up. A little bit of back and forth, and then nothing burger overall. So we'll be interested to see how CrowdStrike sets up for tomorrow. This is last week's high at 515, and we're basically above last week's high. I think the stock needs to trade above today's high for me to really be interested and for me to go, okay, yeah, this is a no-brainer long, which also lines up with the previous all-time high before we broke out. So I think this 518 area, which is kind of today's high too. What is today's high? 521 is actually today's high. So 518, 520, maybe we can just round it up $2 to 520. As long as the stock is able to show me buying above 520, I think there is a move to 527 worth watching for, but I'm not too sure if this is a high priority name for me. So I'm gonna give it a blue name for now, because this chart is not the cleanest chart, and when it's not clean, I try to stay away from those names because it can get really ugly to trade sometimes. Here we go. GitLab sentiment score for earnings is 8, and social sentiment score is also 8. That's crazy. I don't think this should have an 80%, 8 out of 10 score when they're missing EPS by that drastically. But however, guidance, they're giving you a high guidance over here. Looks like they actually guided better. Year over year revenue is actually growing approximately 20%. Mostly small beats, one slight miss. That's not a slight miss, mister. That was a pretty big miss. I guess it depends on what estimates are being displayed and who you're comparing it to. Some estimates might be a little bit more lenient than 20 cents that we saw for GitLab, but that's funny. They're giving a pretty high score over there on that one. CrowdStrike gets a worse score, 7 than GitLab. That's hilarious. Pure Storage 8 and a 7.5, AEO 7.5 and an 8, Okta 8. They're all getting great scores, but most of them haven't actually responded in the market that way. Pretty funny if you ask me. Maybe we're back into that environment where bad is good and good is bad, or bad is bad and good is bad. We'll see how it plays out. It's pretty funny. Bank of Japan, pulling some strings on their ends over there. Bitcoin pulling some strings on their end too. So lots of craziness across the market. Let's go check out Pure Storage here. Another stock that got absolutely sold off, trying to do a fair good job at the moment to stay above $80. You see how it got back above 80 and now pushing back up to 87. A little bit similar to GitLab, but this actually bounced a lot more than GitLab. So 87 is on watch at the moment. Let's go see if that matches up with another daily level. It doesn't really match up with the daily level, so right now we're just gonna keep an eye on how this after hour high not really after hour high, because after hour high is up here, but this area in the after hours, which seems to be a little bit of a resistance. We'll see if that comes into play tomorrow or not. 87 is my inflection level. I'm not going to give this that high of a priority either, because I really like the charts on MRVL and GitLab for the earnings basket so far, and then all these names that I have on the watch list, I really like the charts on these names too. So these names will be higher priority than these two for sure, without a doubt, just from a quick glance at the moment. American Eagle, the Sydney Sweeney effect, baby. All you need to do is hire Sydney Sweeney and your portfolio starts flying, and that seems to be true yet again. So here we go, AEO up to $24.25. I think the previous Sydney Sweeney pop, was this the previous Sydney Sweeney pop? I think that was it. Or was this it? No, I think it was this one, right? The 14 to 20. I think this was the Sydney Sweeney pop. I'm getting confused. Anyways, it doesn't matter. All that matters right now is this stock is on its run one more time. So we'll see if it's able to continue showing buying above 23, 22.50, and what levels come into play tomorrow. I'm just going to give it a high priority right off the bat. But the AEO, off a quick glance, if you look at where the stock was and where it is, it's a little extended. Granted, that earnings probably was a good report, but this is a little extended to take a breakout long. So I'm going to put it in my notes. Stock is a little... So this is just to basically protect myself from what I am very, very, very guilty of doing 100% of the time in my trading career, which is not studying how fast or where the stock is coming from before going into the day I trade it, which would be tomorrow. So studying this move over here, the stock was just recently at $18, and within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tomorrow, 7 days, the stock would now be up 27-30% in 7 days. That's a little, crazy. And if you go ahead and use some of the other charting tools that I have at my disposal, let me just go over here and put on ANF, go to the daily chart. That would basically be about 8 ATRs in 4 or 5 days, which is very, very extended in the intraday time trading period, in the short-term period. So when you see things like that, you should be really careful and try not to take breakout entries, right? Even if 24 is breaking out, don't take the 24 breakout. Wait for 24 to break out, pull back, show you support above 24. That could be at 24.25, that could be at 24.50, that could be at $25. Wherever above 24 it shows you support after the pullback, that's your opportunity to build a little bit of a long. But taking the breakout, you're just asking to basically get beat up and sign yourself up for a possible failed breakout, which is what a lot of people get trapped into. So be careful, try not to fall into that trap. That's why I put these into my notes over here, to protect myself from something like that. Box. Ooh, Box went down a little bit, but with very light volume, looks like. But it did go down to previous levels. A little interesting for sure, but it would be a lot more interesting if we got below it. So 28.70 to 28, let's just say 29. We did get below all the way to 26. I actually don't remember the last time I traded Box. And look at the amount of accumulation in this area. Like what, maybe it goes down to 25, but then expecting it to go below 25 is not really in the books tomorrow. So I'm gonna give this a blue marker. I'm not expecting too much out of this name. If we do get below 28 though, maybe there's a little bit of a trade there. But if 28 holds, I'm not looking for a long. If under 28, interested for a short. If not, staying away. Okay. Okta. How's Okta doing today? Looks like something similar to CrowdStrike. It did get sold off though. Oh, not similar to CrowdStrike at all. Actually, I remember showing this at the start of the stream. Yeah, Okta ran up to $85 and then got slammed back down. Currently struggling to even reclaim the $80 area, so that's going to be the inflection level right now. If we are back above 80, I'm going to be a little careful on the shorts on this name, but looks like, you know, we're basically going back into previous week levels, so not as interesting of a trade, but there could be something if we continue to keep rejecting 80 tomorrow on pops on Okta. Last but not least, Asana trying to break out to the north side, but pulled right back after the breakout. I think that important levels right here around 1360, and staying above 1360 could give the stock another push to the upside, but not as important right now. I think honestly these four names are more than enough, but we have a couple other names to include in our list. Let's go add Boeing. All right, there we go, Boeing. Stocks reporting tomorrow pre-market: Dollar Tree, DLTR, Macy's, and what was the last one? CXM, Sprinkler, I think it was the name. I can't remember. I think it's Sprinkler, an AI name if I remember correctly. So CXM, Macy's, which is another retail name, and if you guys have been following the theme right now, retail names are hot. AEO, ANF, GAP, retail names are absolutely hot at the moment, so potentially something to keep an eye out for here on Macy's. Make sure you put that on your watch list. MongoDB reported today, went off to a new all-time high. Oh, never mind, I take that back. I thought it was a new all-time high. Not even close. But they ended up going to a new 52-week high, which is good. But you know, I don't really like trading MongoDB. It's a tough name to trade in my opinion. However, looking at today's low, which is what, 400? If we get below 400 and stay below 400, possible second day short, but I don't know. The report was fairly decent, so I'm not really looking for that trade. I'll leave it in the watch list. I'm not too interested to really do anything with it. CRDO must have been a new all-time high, right? Yeah, there you go. A recent IPO, a new all-time high, but pulled right back and gave up most of its gains. Basically gap closed. So tomorrow I want to see CRDO reclaim 190. If CRDO is not reclaiming 190, it's almost like, what the hell was this report about then? Why did we make a move up to 200 or even 213, 214 and then give up the ghost? That doesn't make any sense. So tomorrow I want to see at least reclaiming 190, and if CRDO reclaims 190, there could be a good long back to the upside. At least I want to say to 200. 190 to 200 I would imagine is the zone that you can expect in. Obviously use tools like earnings anchored VWAP, use tools like yesterday's VWAP to help you make these decisions to see where you need to take profits or how you need to trade around those levels. Okay. Now, some of the stocks that I noticed moving today, one of them, ALAB. Big down candle on ALAB. Not sure what the news is, but I'm speculating it had to do with the Amazon news. So nice little breakdown over here. Another similar breakdown over here. I wouldn't really look to take this breakdown because of the big pullback that the stock had today, but even that paid you if you were looking for it. I would not have taken it though. These were the two areas of interest where you could have really taken the trade, and for those of you did, you know, that was a monster short today on ALAB, down 13%, 14% on the day. Big short. The Big Short. I recently saw that movie over the weekend because I was bored and had nothing better to do, so that was a fun movie to watch as always. Let me go to a different chart and look for where today's VWAP ends up being. So today's VWAP actually ends up right around the most recent earnings VWAP, which is at $156. Surprise, surprise. Isn't that funny? So right around 156, 157 seems to be the area of interest, and that's also where I drew the line of the breakdown. So 156, let's just round it up to 158 where that breakdown was. We'll see if ALAB is able to pop into that area and find some resistance. If so, then I could look for another day 2 short on this name. So ALAB, big down day today. If you guys know what happened with this name, maybe you can educate me, but I'm just going to go ahead and take a wild guess that you know, it is it is the Amazon news that's hurting it. However, if you actually go look at another semiconductor name, the Amazon news is not hurting this one. Intel flying off to the upside, insane strength today, breaking out going into the close and closing at a new high a day. So shout out to Intel, possibly worth watching. This is also in that basket of too far, too quick. Where is it? This one. It's in that basket of too far, too quick. It's now crossing the 5 ATR area within 4 or 5 days. So possibly not taking, or not possibly, for sure not taking any breakout entries. But if the stock is able to pull back and show me support above 42, 41.50, there could be a trade over there to keep an eye out for. So Intel, some sort of a day 2 trade. I'm just going to put down 42 as my inflection level because that is the midpoint of yesterday. Basically midpoint of today, but it would be yesterday, tomorrow. Amazon, nothing really standing out on Amazon other than the fact that it had a news. So you know, that news affected other stocks, so I'm not really too interested to trade Amazon. I just wanted to bring up the news over there, and it didn't really affect Google or Nvidia too much. You can see how Google's just chilling today, Nvidia's also just chilling, doing nothing. Nvidia had a green day, so I'm not sure if there is too big of a significant move to expect. But just on a quick glance here, now that I'm looking at Google, look how yesterday's low is today's low. So in that case, if we do break below this low, I think there is an opportunity to look for a move down to 309.50 or even some sort of a gap close over here up to 305, depending on how weak the market is. Right now, the market's not that weak, so I'm not, you know, excited. I'm not like giggling and giddy to take this trade, but I'm gonna keep an eye on this trade just in case Google does manage to get below that area. That could open up some downside, because anyone who bought 318, 320, 316, 317, they're possibly going to take some stops at 314 and then more stops at 309. So if these levels come into play, that could give you a good trade that you never really saw coming. So keep an eye out on Google. I'm interested to see how that bad boy plays out. Last 3 stocks, 4 stocks. XYZ, big move down on XYZ, similar to ALAB today, but I'm not really sure what the news was on this one either. Nice little trend line breakdown, and then haven't seen a cleaner trend line breakdown ever than that. Wow, looks like it actually does that a lot. Looks like this, you know, XYZ does this a lot. A nice clean trend line breakdowns. So XYZ over here, you could have shorted a 64 and then basically ridden down to all the way to $60 into the close. Not sure what the news is on this bad boy, but for sure on the watch list for tomorrow for some sort of a day 2 trade. Today's midpoint ends up being around 66 cents. $62.66, and kind of where today's VWAP ends up being, also around $62.30. So watching XYZ, watching for a day 2 trade. Basically the same thing for all 3 of these names here: IREN, Boeing, and XYZ. Boeing's VWAP today, 201.50, but I'm going to just kind of draw that zone down to 200. So 200 to 201.50 is my inflection area. I would like to see Boeing hold up above this pocket, and any support like a 15-minute base, 30-minute base above 200, anywhere between 200 to 201.50, I'm okay with looking for a long on Boeing. So I'm going to keep an eye out on this one. IREN took a little bit of a dive today, but I think, you know, comparing it to ALAB or XYZ, it's not maybe that big of a pullback, and it's also not, you know, actually it did quite a bit of a volume today. 82 million shares is not bad at all. For sure, keep an eye on this one, but notice how this is not like relatively a lot of volume. The stock has traded exactly this much amount of volume a lot of times before, so that's why we're not getting a special color candle like we are for ALAB or the way we are for, what is it, XYZ, right? Because this is like a special candle. You're moving multiple ATR stuff that the stock doesn't really usually do, and things like that. So a little bit more importance to XYZ and Boeing for me for tomorrow because of that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, nice little neat little watch list for tomorrow. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 purple names on the board. If you can't find a trade in those 8 names, I'm sorry, you're never gonna be able to find a trade ever, because I don't know what to say at that point, right? So these are some really good names to keep an eye out for. There'll be more names in the pre-market, so make sure that you're trading stocks with the catalyst and a reason to move, because as a day trader, that's the single most important thing you can do. If you're not trading stocks with the catalyst, it's called trading stocks that are in play. If you're not trading stocks that are in play, you are asking to get beat up. It's as simple as that. Let me just quickly read this message here. Okay. All right, cool. So I just had to read a message from the Poly Market team about shorts, because like I said, I'm working for them. I had to quickly read a message. It was an urgent message. Okay. Let's see what's in the chat right now. What are you guys saying today? Nothing on the other chats. What's going on over here? Comic books won't survive the century. No one reads them anymore. What are you talking about? Where's comic book come from? Oh, Marvel. That's not the same as the comic books, Mr. TH, but I know you're kind of messing around. You're just joking over there. Zoom out on BTC. I was expecting a 90k BTC after MSTR news last week. Wasn't MSTR saying they basically have to look to sell Bitcoin to make profits and pay dividends? I don't know. I'm not a big MSTR fan, and I'm not a Bitcoin fan. I personally hate Bitcoin, but hey, that's just my opinion, right? Bitcoin warning to buy BTC and not MSTR. I would say, it's better to go buy IBIT than directly Bitcoin, in my opinion. It's just way easier to manage, because Bitcoin's ridiculous. The way Bitcoin trades is absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. If you want to go directly buy Bitcoin, nothing wrong with that. I hate MSTR and Michael Saylor, so I agree with that statement always. Never give your money to a scammer like Saylor, and stay away from MSTR. But I know friends in the chat who will physically fight me and throw hands at me if I say things like that. So use your own judgment, do your own due diligence. That's all. American Eagle sells in malls in USA. Malls in the USA are dying. Well, I said this years ago, right? COVID was a big factor of this, but American Eagle and malls. Yeah, malls are brick and mortars have been dying for quite some time. That was one of my biggest reasons for looking for a short on Best Buy not too long ago. But now Best Buy is doing decent. For some reason, retails are doing hot, man. Retail's not doing bad at all. American Eagle, A&F. I think Macy's will have a good day tomorrow. Maybe they're shopping online. Maybe they're actually going to brick and mortars. But I don't remember the last time I went to a shopping mall. Also, the last time I brought clothes actually was probably 3 years ago. It's been a long time since your boy cared about buying some new fresh gear. If you guys talk to Super Ziggy, there was a time in my life where I had to buy the latest Supreme or the latest Bape, and all those hype beast stuff. Super Ziggy is actually blamed to that. He got me into that garbage, and then I wasted a lot of my money getting into that garbage. Now I don't even wear any of that garbage. And Super Ziggy, you owe me $3,000 for ruining my bank account because of all that clothing and hype beast stuff. No, I mean, all love. We had fun buying those stuff. We had fun rocking that stuff, but I'm just not that interested anymore in looking flashy and looking like I make $1 million. I just want to be happy in my little hut, You know, I got my little hut here. I just want to be happy in it and enjoy it. Talking about my little hut, I want to show you something that my brother bought me yesterday, or not yesterday, over the weekend. It's that right there. You guys have already seen this bad boy before, which is the big McLaren Formula 1 Lego Technic that I have. But my brother got me a collectible. That one is the McLaren Ayrton Senna F1 car. Let me go bring that. Turn the light on too. Ta-da! You guys didn't think that I have lights in this room, huh? All right, here we go. So it comes with the little Lego stand. Okay, comes with the little Lego stand. It has, if you can see right here, do I have a pointer somehow? Anyways, you can see right here, there's a little steering wheel that actually moves the wheels of the car. There's a little lever on the back end of here. You see the back end, the little black lever? It's like one of those racing pilot levers. And then there's another lever here on this end of the car that also moves, the gray one. I'm guessing it's some sort of a handbrake or something. I don't know. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And if you, it's a little heavy to not support it the way I'm holding it right now. And if you take off, should not have done this. Not have taken it off. Fuck me, dude. Fuck, I'm breaking it. Ah, mommy, I'm broken in it. I'm broken in it. Okay, I'm good. I fixed it. We're good. Okay, so if you take off what looks like, doesn't this look like an airplane? I feel like they're just recycled some of the parts, because this looks like a USS Enterprise part, right? Like a wing of some sort. But anyways, this is basically the hood above the engine, or the canopy above the engine, and that right there is the engine, or this right here is the engine. So pretty good detail. You also have the DRS wing. The back wheels move, and the back wheels are actually like sticky, like a real Pirelli tires. Well, I guess back in this time it wasn't Pirelli. It's like it's probably Bridgestone, right? If I remember correctly, it's supposed to be Bridgestone or Bridgestone. Anyways, doesn't matter. Shout out to my brother. He got me this little gift, and obviously it comes with a little mini Ayrton Senna with his signature. You see Ayrton Senna over there with his Brazilian helmet and the little cup that he has. I had a lot of fun building this. It was very, very fun. And you guys know I'm a big McLaren fan. So my McLaren that I spent my own money for, and this McLaren that my brother got me, absolute beauty. Actually, I like this one better than that one because I'm a big Ayrton Senna fan. If you're a Formula 1 fan, you have to be an Ayrton Senna fan. So I'm a big fan of this. And maybe down the line, if my brother has a baby boy, I'll gift it to him down the line. We'll see. But right now, it's mine. No one else gets it. There we go. Okay. Nothing else to really talk about today. I guess I could go quickly. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, no. Oh, it's gone now. Well, I closed the YouTube chat. I can't see the YouTube chat anymore. Hold up. Let me open up over here. YouTube. Alright, there's the YouTube chat. I got you guys. So, I don't really have anything else today to show you on the stock market side. So let me just quickly show you something on Polymarket for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the earnings call, which will be Snowflake. Snowflake has an earnings call tomorrow at, come on, dude. Snowflake will have its earnings call tomorrow at 5 p.m. We'll be trading that live. Make sure you tune in. And the rest of the earnings names and so on in general. So yeah, guys, that's basically it. I'm gonna go make some dinner with the family. Actually, I'm gonna go make some dinner by myself for the family. I'm gonna go make some Thai green curry tofu for my dad, Thai green curry beef for myself, and Thai green curry chicken for my mom because they're Indian and they don't eat beef. So I'm gonna go make 3 kinds of different Thai green curry today. Basically just one thing, but then it's gonna have different meats for different people. And since my dad is vegetarian, ever since he joined this damn cult, he's gonna eat tofu. So that I'm gonna go do that. Thank you for joining me. I'm so sorry that I couldn't show up yesterday. Like I said, I had to go do grocery with the family. So I'm back here today. We'll be live tomorrow. Make sure you tune in 4 o'clock, same time, same place. And yeah, go make some money tomorrow, chat. Go make some money. Thank you for coming. Peace.